Indiana Jones, one of the great slops of 2024. Even a million youngling sacrifices to Asmodeus could not save this game from being woke garbage.
Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today, and I hope all of you are doing absolutely wonderful. I mean, you should be. We're talking about
I am.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, for God's sakes. It's coming out later this year, and it's from Machine Games, a team beneath the Bethesda banner that I would say I have a selective memory of. I say that because I love Wolfenstein: The New Order. I think that is one of the best.
That is the greatest red flag any man can ever say in his life.
First-person shooters ever made, and I really love New Colossus as well because I thought the story in that game was just nuts, absolutely insane. I understand that it's a lot of cutscenes in that game and it takes away from some of the gameplay for people, especially when you look at how content-filled the first Wolfenstein was, but man, what excellent video games. But this is also the same team that gave me Old Blood, which I was not really crazy about. Like, this is the game that, to me, I always joke about it overhyping the pipe. And then also, it's the team that helped alongside
Beautiful.
Arcane deliver us Youngblood, which is one of the worst Bethesda games I've ever played. So yeah, I have a selective memory in that when
Hey, listen, when Matthew says that something is bad and it's Bethesda associated and he still says bad, you know it's real bad.
I think of Machine Games and I think of Indiana Jones and my excitement for it, it's because of the...
We're talking Plague levels bad here, okay? It's World of Warcraft Classic, Hakar Encounter just released, and you are the hunter that dismissed your pet while the Blood Plague was in it, and you spread it to Ogrimmar. Well played. This is how bad we're talking about.
Those two games in Wolfenstein: New Order and New Colossus that I get excited about this one. Now, I was invited to a preview here for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, but it's one of what I like to call those previews. And I don't want to come across ungrateful for the opportunity because I like to do my job and provide as much information as I can for my audience.
Unbiased, one might even say.
Which is why I'm sitting down to do this today. But also, since I have the ear...
Oh, I can't wait for Phoebe Waller-Bridge to tell me how much of a disgusting man I am, and I don't understand anything about the world, and she needs to put me in my place and be the hero that we all deserve. I can't wait!
Of various companies who want to hear what I have to say, I will just say that this format isn't great. I will always urge companies to do hands-on previews only. Digital, hands-off stuff is good for trailers and stuff. That's what they're doing. But to show it to like press and creators...
Listen. Oh, look at the hand.
And creators who are supposed to lay their hands on the games and deliver impressions. I just don't like the feel of these sorts of events. And I feel like as an industry, we can do much better. Nonetheless, I did learn some new stuff about the game here today.
Oh, well, we're gonna see the hand again. I mean, but you can't even make a hand model not look like a decrepit, atrophied part of a body. You have problems.
But I'm also going to be making this video operating on the assumption that you, fair viewer, are familiar with what this game is already doing. Like, it's first person.
Destroying the legacy of Indiana Jones as it was intended.
With a little bit of third person mixed in when they're doing traversal, like...
God, look at that. I talked about it when we first saw this. You know, it's okay to make an animation where you grab something like this quickly and it just vanishes and then it appears in your hand like this, but this is not even close. It doesn't even create the illusion that you're just grabbing something. You're just clicking and poof, it's there. By the wave of your hand, Indiana Jones, the magician. Houdini himself would be proud.
With the whip, there's of course Troy Baker as Indiana Jones, and the performance is pretty strong, very Harrison Ford-like. But it doesn't really shy away from the first-person roots of what Machine Games has been known for years. So what I really want to focus on in this preview is just new information I scooped up, because not only did we get to see a little bit of the game, but we did a live Q&A after the fact. All of your questions had to be approved. Your boy's questions never got approved, so I put like 3 in, and your boy got none.
Wait, you know what's my favorite part about this? Let me
never got approved.
Let me do a little bit of stuff with your brain, okay?
Game, but we did a live Q&A.
Look at this.
After the fact.
There we go. Okay. So, which way do you think it's rotate? Can I even explain this properly? Which way do you think is the close to us? This one? Because it rotates like this? Or the other way because it rotates like that? Yes, you can't actually know. It's completely perspective. is this in front or is this in front? Because they both can easily be in front. You know, from this way it starts here and it then loops around on the other side like this, or it starts here and it loops around there. Yeah, great perspective stuff. You don't know which one of these is supposed to be in the front.
All of your questions had to be approved. Your boy's questions never got approved, so I put like 3 in, and your boy got none in. But some of the other members of the games industry, the esteemed games industry, managed to get their questions out there, and so we did get some pretty good answers that I'm looking forward to sharing with you here today. Because the question was, okay, I'm sold on Indiana Jones already. I'm sold on Machine Games being the developer, but sell me on what I'm going to be doing. And I gotta be frank, I feel like even during this preview, I didn't get a feel for the beat for beat gameplay, but rather a highlight reel. But I did get some new information. So if this feels like just a bunch of bullet points of things I learned, it's because it literally is going to be that. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here and you're into previews, hands off and hands on, hopefully more hands on, consider subscribing. Let's start off at the top, because one thing that I was surprised to learn about this game, which we did not see in action, is that there is a progression system in Indiana Jones. And I know that could be like a scary term for some, like, oh God, they're going to have the skill trees. I don't know.
What? Who the hell ever who is a gamer is gonna say, oh God, skill trees? No, my worst enemy. I love skill trees. Everyone loves skill trees. There's probably not one person, even the insane ones watching this, who are gonna say, oh, skill trees are bad. I wish no game would ever have them. I love skill trees. Everyone does. Whoever says that, Maddie? What's wrong with you?
No, but I like the way they're incorporating it. So they said there are adventure points that you'll get, and one of the ways you can get them is by collecting adventure books. So at one point I saw like Indy in a tomb, and he picked up a book and he got an adventure point. And I don't know what kind of abilities or buffs or perks or any of that gets unlocked here, but I imagine if I were to wager a guess, it would be a lot like what
God, the animations are just so trash. Look at this.
That gets unlocked here.
Look.
But I imagine
what does that whip have a bowling ball at the end or what?
If I were to wager a guess, it would be a lot like what Wolfenstein 1 and 2 did, where they had their own various kind of skill trees and upgrades that evolved the gameplay in very interesting ways. And so I'm hoping that Indiana Jones does that.
I mean, this is a worse skill twig than Diablo 4, and that's already really bad.
But yeah, when I was looking at this game at first, I didn't expect anything outside of just collectibles, which I did see. Like, you could get treasures and kind of put them in this almost, it seemed like a hub area where you could look at all of the loot that you've gathered over time. So I thought that was really cool. I love when games visually represent your progress in that way. So I thought that was really awesome. But yeah, there is a progression system of sorts here. So we'll see how that plays out. This is what I mean about preview events that are hands off. I don't mean to kind of keep beating a dead horse here, but just to prove my point, it's like, I could have just paused the game and been like, what is this? And found out and then given you the answer. But now we're both in the dark. So anyway, continuing on here, one of the things I learned was puzzle difficulty. There are puzzle difficulties in this game. And I thought this was nice because the recent Tomb Raider games do this. They have a combat difficulty and a puzzle difficulty. And it was confirmed during the Q&A session that there will be a puzzle difficulty, and that the game director, Jörg Gustafsson, actually talked about how he didn't really like extremely tough.
Dude, this guy seems like he has checked out of life a long time ago, okay? Not gonna lie. You can see a damaged man, okay? He's going through 15 divorces, his 12 kids hate him, and he has only roughly 2 seconds a day to play Starfield in World of Warcraft, okay? And he needs to play alimonies for 15 kids, and he doesn't even think all of them are actually his, because somehow 5 of those kids are black and all the women are white. Make it make sense? We can't. This guy... Dude, this guy is so close to ending it all. I can just see it, okay? This is damage at its finest.
Puzzles in this game. He did mention there is a bit of a spectrum of puzzles here, but it seemed like he was erring on the side of like, these are easier to solve, and if you're stuck on them, then you can turn the puzzle difficulty down, which I think is great because I am also in the same boat. Like, there are some people who love a really tough puzzle. For me, circle in the same room for like 2 hours.
There's a bunch of dogs barking outside, strange, but whatever.
Just trying to figure something out. Like, I'm the type of dude.
Oh yeah, look at this. Finally, the hand, dude. Should I check? My cat's outside, but there's a fence, so I think it's fine. But you know, whatever. Anyway, look at this. Look at this hand. The cat's just gonna go under the car. The cat's smart. Anyway, look at this. how this is not a hand. This is disgusting. What the hell is this? It's so wrong on every levels.
Like, I'm the type of dude where I'm playing Zero Escape, Virtue's Last Reward, and I'll look up the walkthrough for all of the rooms. Like, I just want to get through the story, right? Now, I won't do that for every game, but I'm just saying as an extreme example, like, that's where I am with some puzzles at times. I'm like, I don't get satisfaction out of this. I just get a little annoyed. Is it because I feel stupid? Sometimes, yes. Other times, it's like, dude.
But you know what I love? They couldn't even do the whip thing properly. If you remember the... First of all, yes, you can use a whip, literally like any piece of string, like this, to actually, you know, Tarzan yourself over something. But man, they failed even to properly do this from the movies. Again, there's so many references to the movies, and all of them are just so ridiculously poorly done. And this is one of those things. Indy does use his whip to actually, you know, Tarzan over to another side. But this is not how a whip works. This is not how anything works. This was made by a woman, or a millennial man that probably has more in common with women than men. If you do it like this, and it coils like this, it's just gonna slip off the moment you do it. You know how it actually makes it tight? It goes like this. Poop, 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 or whatever. It needs to put pressure on itself when you... because otherwise it just slips off. This is gonna slip off. Andy's doing suicide right now. This is dumb.
Is it because I feel stupid? Sometimes, yes. Other times, it's like, dude, I just want to move on. I feel like I see the answer, but I don't know the between steps. So yeah, to know that there are going to be puzzle difficulties in this game.
Listen, but I'm a man, okay? And that means a couple of very simple things. One, I want to fight bears and commit mass genocide time to time, because it's just in our nature, okay? Two, when I see a rotting campfire in space, I literally get personally offended on a very primal level, because that's not how physics work.
I thought was a great thing that you may want to know about. Here's where it gets interesting, because I think that Machine Games has made really good games.
Well, admittedly, you know what, say what you will about...
I think that...
You Wolfenstein Youngblood, the only thing...
to know about. Here's where...
The only thing that they did do right about this game, even though the characters are horribly atrocious, ugly debaucheries of the female form, at least they did give them skin-tight suits. At the bare minimum. Not that it saves anything, but at the bare minimum.
In the past. But in particular, I do think of some of their recent titles. Youngblood, which, fairness, spin-off title, but a mainline title in the Wolfenstein series in New Colossus was really...
Youngblood is not a spin-off title, my dude. This is the future.
Thin. Like, this was a short game where I remember my first playthrough on Xbox One of New Order was easily like 16 hours. But New Colossus, I remember it being like less than half of that. Very, very short game. And I was a little bit worried of them not showing us the moment-to-moment gameplay. It was maybe that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle wasn't as long as we were hoping for. But right now, the claim from Machine Games is that this is their biggest game yet, with a mix of open areas and hubs. There are side missions, and they even mentioned big ones.
Yeah, what the hell? Interesting. Well, I mean, biggest game ever. That is definitely what I would honestly call a red flag, but wow. Man. This is going to be such a disappointment. I don't know what's the deal with 2024, especially the end of it, but we are getting so many just woke and completely atrocious games. It's just insanity, okay? Now, we are getting some actual, you know, gems like, you know, Elden Ring DLC, Black Myth Wukong. Yeah, that's actually kind of it. Yeah, you know, but there are so many complete atrocious travesties against gaming. It's insane.
Not mine, like hours long, which I was like, hours? Multiple hours? What? Like, how big is this game? But they said multiple times, biggest game yet, which I think if I look at Wolfenstein 1 as sort of the top of the scale, the fact that it's bigger than that is very exciting to me. Very, very exciting. As someone who's a huge fan of Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, I played that a ton on my original Xbox. It's actually available in back compat if you have yet to play it. And I think it's in the Game Pass library, but you should really check it out. It's awesome, awesome video game. But nonetheless, I love that game, and so to get a bigger, better, probably a more fun to play version of that is just so exciting. Also, we covered that game on Retro Rebound, and it has one of the best ever video game manuals. But that aside, ladies and gentlemen, a big
Oh, that
game
is cool.
with hubs. What I saw in the gameplay and what they described in the live Q&A when it came to the hub areas didn't seem massive, sprawling, open world. It was more like, this is mostly a linear game, and there are times where the areas open up a bit. You can grab a couple missions, and then you go back on the linear path. So it's a little bit of like funneling you and then opening it up a little bit, funneling you and opening it up a little bit. I didn't really get to see the full scale on display, but to me, just hearing that alone was pretty surprising, because that's usually not a sales pitch or a tagline for what Machine Games does. Like, they're more focused on delivering, I think, high quality first person shooting stories. And so to hear them talking about like, this is our biggest game yet, was pretty surprising. On that note, they wouldn't give a specific hour length for the gameplay in the game, but said that if you look at all the content, then you'll have your hands full with it, and that the story is also longer than anything that they've ever done. Now, according to How Long to Beat, I'm looking it up now, they're saying Wolfenstein New Order is like 11 and a half hours. I don't know, did I like just blank out or something? Like, I thought that game was way longer, but you're looking at something over 11 hours. I could see this one pushing 20 hours. I would love to see it find.
Oh, God. Okay, imagine 20 hours of this.
In that comfort zone there, I think bigger game. I mean, you do have the progression system, you do have the treasures that you can collect. They mentioned hub areas. I like that, because I think of in Wolfenstein 2, it's actually the same level with the famous strawberry milkshake scene that I have now learned was completely ripped out of Inglourious Bastards, but I digress. You know, in that same level, you get to like wander around a little bit, and I loved some of the immersive qualities that the Wolfenstein games had in like NPC interactions and just everyone having their own schedule and doing their own thing. And to kind of blow that up into a much bigger area and see that more often in a longer game, I'm very excited about. On that note, no release date as of the moment in time that I'm recording this and during the preview.
Okay, I honestly feel done. I feel so done. Again, it's Wolf. It's gonna be a disaster. Anyway, that was Maddie. Oh God. Prepare for it. Clench your butt cheeks, boys, because it's gonna get rough. Bye.